What's cracking? Let's make sure we're recording. We are recording. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So, what we need to do, what you guys need to do right now is this. Hold on. Yeah. You're very welcome. Have you noticed that the camera hasn't budged? Have you noticed the camera ain't doing no push-ups no more? Check the motherfucker. But anyways, I had to download some stuff. You guys know I'm a dinosaur. Took me a while. Doesn't this feel a whole lot more comfortable? Doesn't it feel like I might have been on YouTube for a year or two already? Oh shit, man. But anyways, I'm happy. Now, I want to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel. Those of you that haven't already checked, do me a favor, check your notifications. Make sure it's not on, what is that shit called? Personalized. Make sure it's not on personalized. Make sure it's on all. That way you don't miss anything that I'm putting out. I still have a few weeks. I can't say that long. I still have a little bit of time that I'm going to be putting stuff out on a daily basis. And then I am going to be focusing on some other things. So I'm trying to make sure I put out as much as I can now. So today, we're going to talk about California Youth Authority. I don't know. They don't even have guns in Y.A. I just felt like I wanted to use that. So I've done a lot of videos on the California Youth Authority. I have a friend of mine. Shout out to Caleb. Caleb and I had a conversation about the Youth Authority about a month ago. And so as I was laying there right now, I was like, what am I going to talk about today? And I see, you know what? I want to do a YA story because I've been doing a lot of prison stories. I want to do a California Youth Authority story. And it dawned on me, the conversation that I had with Caleb. And it basically had to do with YA politics. Is there even such a thing as YA politics? Because we know that within the California Department of Corrections, there is politicking, right? And once again, I cannot speak for anyone else, but I can talk about, and actually in the California Youth Authority, a dude from Raza from Southern California can actually speak on what was going on with the whites. And I'll get to that in a minute. So, was there politics in the California Youth Authority? There was. And it was basically more on code of conduct. And I can only, again, I'm only talking about as far as the dudes from Southern California. There were, I actually don't even know how many fucking rules there were that you had to abide by, that you had to adhere to and toe that line, because YA was a piranha tank. Everybody was out to get everybody. So when a guy would initially land on a dorm, right, he would usually be ran down or even given a little piece of paper with the list, and it would be that like the 13 rules. And it was funny because for an example, when I ran a dorm, you know, I would tell them like, look, Holmes, this is what's expected. Boom, go ahead and check these out. And but understand that that's not even like the tip of the iceberg. Eh? Like, there's a whole lot more that you are expected to do and rules to live by. And, you know, some dudes would be humble. You know, some dudes would be, we'll get to the arrogant ones, but some dudes would be humble and a little scared. Eh? They would be like, damn, homie, but like, what if I fuck up? And I would tell them, you're going to. There's so much for you to have to do that's out of the ordinary for you that you're going to break a rule here and there. Understand that you're only going to have about 3 days to get your shit in order. And after that, you keep fucking up. That's your ass, right? And I can't honestly remember all the rules. It was impossible. But let's talk about some of the rules, right? It was basically, the rules in themselves were ridiculous for the most part. They were trivial, but they were created to instill discipline and also to try to wreck people. Keeping it real, why it was treacherous. So you had a lot of cleanliness rules, right? So I'll give you an example. If anything of yours touches the ground, it is no longer yours. That's gone. That's trash. Whoever wants it can pick that up, but you couldn't, right? Like your palm comb. Let's say, you were combing your hair and your comb fell on the ground and be like that. And what a lot of times dudes would do, if they dropped it, they'd be mad and they would spit on it. Just in case someone from another, group was like, oh man, there's a comb. Yeah, that got spit on. So enjoy that, right? So there was anything of yours that touched the ground was no longer yours. If you touched anything that was dirty, you were not to touch your face, touch food. If a homie came up to you, hey, what's up, homie? And he want to shake your hand, you had to let him know, especially if he's playing handball. Some handballs are dirty, by the way. Any kind of sports equipment, workout stuff, anything like that is dirty, right? So if you're doing that and a homie comes from the day room and comes outside and wants to shake your hand, but you had to let him know, like, hey, homie, my hands are dirty right now. And if they were like, I ain't tripping, homies, they shake your hand, then they knew they got to wash their hands before they touch anything. There would be times when the Juras would try to play games, right? And they knew the raza from Southern California, if they were dirty and they went to chow and ate their food, they would get dropped leva because they had dirty hands, right? So they would try to do that sometimes. The Juras in there were treacherous. They were just like everybody else, treacherous. But we had tricks for that. So we would go to chow if the Juras try to do that stuff. They would have like the milks. You know how when you grab a milk, it's wet on the outside. So you grab a milk, rub the outside of the carton on your hands, throw that milk inside the fucking cage area where the kitchen workers are, and dry your hands off. Are your hands 100% clean? No. But you have made an effort to clean yourself up prior to eating. There were a lot of rules that were racist. You weren't to engage in a conversation with the black person, but if they engaged you, then you can engage in the conversation. There's a lot of them pertaining to the blacks, and that was impossible. Dudes in Dallas probably didn't have those type of rules, and that's just the sad situation that it was back then. The California Youth Authority was a breeding ground of hatred. You had kids who didn't know who they were, trying to fucking figure out who they were, and at the same time trying to outdo everyone else and become alphas. They don't even know nothing about life. And there was that whole thing in there where somebody would do something and somebody would be like, damn, homie, that vato's crazy. And immediately, that vato's crazy? Man, homies. And then the guy wants to go fight him now. Like, nah, I'm crazy. I'm going to bust this dude up. Again, most of the time when people came and we'd run them down, they were humble. Every now and then you would have that tough guy. And it was usually going to be a dude that was bigger than everybody. Raza for the most part is small. So then you get this big old Mexican's going to come in. And you're running them down. Hey, Holmes, look, this is what's going to be expected of you. And they'll be like, what up, Holmes? What do you mean expected of me? Where are you even from, man? They come with that bullshit and you laugh about it. Like, I'm from right here, Holmes. But that have nothing to do with what you're going to do around here, though. Because you can't back up, right? And you would have these dudes that be like, listen, Holmes, you vatos go ahead and live like that. I'm going to do me. Orale, okay, you're gonna do you? Yeah, okay, my bad, Holmes. I didn't know that. And in the middle of the night, he's got 3 or 4 dudes on him with socks full of batteries or locks. Or there was an occasion once where somebody thought they were that tough, where during the day he had said what he said, and then during the day there was a movement, and one of the homies broke the head off of a sprinkler, and put that in a towel and cracked his skull open because just like in the joint, anywhere behind the walls, nobody's bigger than the program. And oh man. So, anyways, yeah, in YA, there was always somebody looking to do something to somebody. Also, almost forgot when I had said that as far as YA, Raza from Southern California can lightweight speak on what goes on with the whites was for this reason. Other than like YTS, maybe Chad. I was never in Chad. But I'll just speak on what I know. Other than YTS, like in Paso, Nales, even like OH, places like that, the whites, if a white dude hit a dorm, I'm gonna just speak on Paso. If a white dude hit the dorm, YA was extremely, extremely, extremely hard on whites because there weren't a lot of them, and a lot of them didn't come from a gangbanging type background, and they had a lot of people trying to prey on them. So when they would come into a dorm, what we would do is we would get at them like, "Hey, Holmes, what's up? Like, how you trying to do your time?" Because all these couple dudes over here that are white, they're not with the program. They're leva. If you want to hang out with them, you got nothing coming. You ain't gonna have nothing in your locker. Like, it's gonna be a hard life for you. If you want to stand your ground, you're gonna have to run around with us. And if you run around with us, you follow our rules. And anybody fucks with you, we're gonna ride with you. And there would be dudes like, man, I remember, I'll even say his name, Woodstock, John West. John West was a monster. And he was cool with the homies. But for as far as all the whites, and there was probably only in that institution in Paso at that time, probably only like, I mean, maybe there was about 80 whites there, and only about 12 of them didn't want to fuck with them. That's one thing I'll tell you. You can ask dudes that were in YA. YA was very hard on whites. They were extremely outnumbered. They didn't have the gang mindset. Unless they were like a Skin or even a punk rocker. Them dudes were kind of crazy. What was the suicidal tendencies or something? Them dudes were, I think they're the same, right, as a punk rocker. Them dudes were off the hook. But when you ran into a righteous Wood in YA, a righteous Skin in YA, them fuckers were down. But it was unfortunate that a lot of times dudes would come and they'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna be a level, I'm not gonna be a lame, I'm not gonna run around with those guys, I'll run around with you. And like I said, there's like unlimited rules you gotta live by, and they would be like overwhelmed, like, man, how in the fuck am I supposed to do this? And like, you're gonna do it, and a lot of times they would fall off and they would be more comfortable being with their own kind. And I get it, because what kind of things could we relate to each other on, right? But that's just a glimpse at the politics of the California Youth Authority. There was even with that, I've mentioned before the different ramflas, where even amongst the Southern California raza, they were broken into groups. And those groups didn't really always see eye to eye unless there was a riot. Then it'd be, let's go handle this, and then we go back to not really fucking with each other. but all of them were what they call firme raza. If you were good and white, you were firme raza. If you were bad, you were leva. No leva was ever allowed to beat up firme raza. So it didn't matter if everybody knew who was leva in the whole institution. If you were leva, everybody knew. And if you were in the school area and happened to, a leva happened to have a little smart mouth on him, he's getting jumped. Because firme raza could never lose. It's a lot of shit, man. A lot of stupid shit, but it created fucking monsters. It created a lot of arrogance and a lot of devastation. So there's a little glimpse at the California Youth Authority, what it used to be. But unless somebody is there, man, like, you couldn't understand. A couple people have asked me about Jim TD. I may do a video on Jim TD if you guys are interested in that. Jim TD was in Paso, and it was implemented after a riot, and it was very cruel and unusual. And even terrorists that are captured by the military, the government won't do to them what they were doing, what these staff in Paso were doing to kids. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with somebody you think would like it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.